So we all know that 4-note tune that Katniss Everdeen whistles throughout the Hunger Games trilogy, but I'm making this video to dive deeper into why it's so important and why the notes in the melody are placed in that specific order. Spoilers ahead. The concept of a 4-note melody in the Hunger Games was first sung by Rue from District 11. In the arena, Rue and Katniss come up with an idea to destroy the career's stash of food and supplies. Rue then teaches this tune to Katniss to signal to Rue that she is safe. When Rue demonstrates this tune to Katniss, she explains that she would sing this 4-note tune back in District 11. Now, in the Hunger Games, each district has an industry that they provide to for Panem. District 11 is the agricultural produce provider of Panem. So Rue would climb up into the trees to look for the quitting time flag. Then she would sing this tune to alert the rest of the harvesters that the working day was done. They would hear this because the mockingjays would pick up the notes and sing them all throughout the fields, eventually alerting the workers. Even though their plan works and Katniss is able to destroy the food, and she uses the signal to call back to Rue and let her know that she's safe and it's safe to come out, Rue does eventually end up getting killed in the games, and this signifies the first step of rebellion, when Katniss covers her body in wound and flowers before she's picked up in the crane and her body is taken out of the arena. So not only is Rue's influence on the rebellion tune noticeable throughout the series, but her involvement with Katniss and her death in particular is the starting point to the whole thing. After Katniss and Peeta win the games, they go on their victory tour of the districts. When they get to Rue's home district of District 11, an old man in the audience whistles the melody, then holds up the 3-finger salute, a tradition from District 12. Causing the rest of the audience to do the same. The peacekeepers then take this man to the top of the steps and shoot him in the head in front of everybody. The 3-finger salute has long been a symbol of rebellion, but in this instance, it's the old man's whistle that gets him shot, rather than the hundreds of people who held up the salute. In the first instance of the melody, it's not actually the tune that we remember when we think of the Hunger Games. When Rue first brings it up, she sings a completely different 4-note tune, and Katniss responds with the whistle that we all think of. Rue originally sings the song as D flat F E flat G, an ascending sequence that sounds like this. But the melody that Katniss responds with is G B flat A D. That sounds like this. The second melody is the one that is held onto as the tune of rebellion, the tune of remembering, and the tune of grief. These 4-note melodies are almost completely opposite based on the intervals between the notes and the way that they sound played on top of one another. Rue's melody is meant to sound unfinished so that it can be heard again and again seamlessly as the mockingjays echo their call. This is shown through the perfect 4th interval between the last note of the sequence and the first note of the sequence, when the melody is played over again right after. Perfect 4ths signify the return to the home note, or the note that makes the song feel completed. If these notes were turned into a whole song and there were chords playing underneath them, this could also be looked at as a perfect cadence, which would be the 4 chord to the 1 chord, which is used a lot in pop music to signify the end of a chorus or signify the end of a song. While perfect 4ths do signify the end of a phrase of music, perfect 5ths are a stronger version of that, making Katniss's whistled tune a good choice for the sound of rebellion, as it doesn't necessarily need to be repeated to feel complete. As you see in the graphic, Rue's melody goes from a major third to a major second to a minor third, and then if we repeat the song, there's that perfect 4th going back into the beginning. Katniss's whistled tune is a minor third, then a minor second, then a perfect 5th. So if it's cut off right there, it would feel complete because we are returning to the home note. In these instances, we can assume that Rue's sung melody's home note is D flat, even though we don't have much context to work off of. but the way that these intervals are moving, it can be assumed that D flat is the home note. In Katniss's melody's case, D can be seen as the home note based on the way that these notes are moving. So the A to the D would be a perfect fifth, and an A major chord to a D major chord would be a perfect cadence, wrapping up the tune perfectly in just that 4-note piece of music. But when the mockingjays continue the call and echo amongst themselves, it can still have that momentum of repetition because the last note going into the first note of Katniss's melody is a perfect fourth, turning us back into the same melody over and over again. At this point, we're gonna veer off course a little and get a little nerdy. Let's get into the specifics of Hunger Games politics and why this specific melody works for the rebellion. While the Mockingjay became a symbol of rebellion against the Hunger Games, and the Capitol itself also became this 4-note melody, there is the obvious reason why the Mockingjay is a symbol of rebellion, because it is the pin that Katniss wears during the first Hunger Games. It's her one personal item that she was able to bring into the arena from Prim in the movie and from District 12's mayor's daughter in the books. So it signifies her home district and Katniss, who is the face of the rebellion itself. But there is a more long-winded version as to why a Mockingjay fits as this symbol of rebellion to the Capitol. Because Mockingjays were a capital experiment gone wrong, it makes sense that this became a Panem-wide symbol of rebellion. Mockingjays are the result of the crossbreeding between mockingbirds and jabberjays. Jabberjays were an artificial bird developed directly by the Capitol, so when the mockingbirds started to crossbreed with the jabberjays, even after the Capitol tried to get rid of them altogether and set them loose, they started to symbolize something that the Capitol cannot control. A perfect description of Katniss Everdeen. Rue's sung melody relates to this sign of rebellion because when she sings these 4 notes, she means for it to be picked up among the Mockingjays as well. So when Katniss or any other character of the rebellion whistles this tune or sings this tune and the Mockingjays start to pick it up, there's no telling when they'll stop singing it. So it will just keep going until it gets to the Capitol, and there's no stopping the Mockingjays once they start. Anyway, this was supposed to just be a quick and fun analysis on why these 4 notes are so significant and what makes them a good, memorable choice for the jingle of the rebellion in the Hunger Games. If there are any questions or points that I didn't talk about that you're interested in, I would love to answer them in the comments, or maybe make a whole new video going deeper into this analysis. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!